Hi everyone, good morning and welcome to my first ever Technical Tuesday. So I will not be leaving off on the Machine Learning Monday front, but I am also going to be doing a Technical Tuesday post or video in this case now because I am going to be moving into a data engineering role. I'm really excited about this. It is a really great career move for me, and at the end of my last role I was getting much more into the engineering side of things and learning a lot about that. So I'm really excited. So in preparation for this new role, I have been learning a heck of a lot about Azure Synapse and some other data engineering fundamental packages in the Azure stack, so Data Factory and a little bit of Spark as well. But today I'm going to be focusing on a sort of quite fundamental activity within Synapse, and that is querying data in a data lake and then storing that data that's been transformed in some way as an external table using SQL, and doing all of that using the serverless SQL pools that exist inside Synapse. So just a little bit of background, Synapse is a great resource because it brings together all the kinds of services and connections that you need to do data engineering activities, specifically for building pipelines and doing data flows and transformations, and even building data warehouses. It brings them all into this one unified workspace, so you're not having to link lots and lots of different resources within Azure as previously. So I've been studying this a lot. We are currently in the Synapse studio. On the Home tab up here, you can see you have lots of links to different places that you can go, so you can ingest data, do some analysis and exploration using KQL language. I'm not sure how you say that, KQL, like SQL. And you can also build Power BI reports within a workspace, so that's really interesting. I have just provisioned this really, really quickly using an ARM template from the Microsoft Learn. So this is a very standard thing, and you can recreate this really easily by going to the DP203 materials and going and looking at transforming files using a SQL, serverless SQL pool. So I have a little linked service here. It's a data lake, and I have some files in here, which is just a folder full of these CSV files. So these are all basically just fake sales data. Within my workspace, I don't have very much yet. And in my develop tab, I have a few SQL scripts, which we're going to run through. So today, I want to look quite narrowly at how we can use Synapse to query bits of data that are stored in a data lake. So specifically, this is for CSV files like we have here, JSON format files, or even Parquet files. There is a different procedure if your data is already in a relational format or a view, perhaps, of a relational database. And what's really interesting is we can use SQL to transform this data that is stored in the data lake. So SQL, in this case, is not being used to query and analyze. This is a transformation process, which can be done as part of a data ingestion pipeline or an ETL process for data warehousing. And the way we are going to do that today is we are going to use a CETAS statement. So CETAS stands for Create External Table as Select. So this is a statement that uses a select statement to transform data that is stored in a data lake and store it in an external table, which is stored within your data lake as well, along with the metadata that defines that table. And then you can query that data as if it were a relational data source, as if it was in a relational database. You can also include these CETAS statements in a stored procedure. So if you want to make your script very repeatable and parameterize them, all that sort of stuff, add some more complex logic, you can also do that. So today we're going to be using the serverless SQL pools. You can use the dedicated pools as well, but this is a slightly more ad hoc scenario. So I'm using the serverless pool. And I haven't provisioned anything special here. This is just a very, very basic pool. Okay, so where are we going to start? Well, we have to start by creating a database for this to happen in. So you do have the master database, but we're going to create a specific custom database for this, which is just going to be called our sales database. The other things that we're going to create in this script are the external data source. So this is defined as my data lake location. That is a linked service to this Synapse workspace. I'm also defining an external file format here. These will get referenced in a later script. So I am just going to quickly run this script. And after I run it, I will publish it. Great, so it doesn't actually have any results, so that's what we want. And then I am just going to quickly show you what the data looks like by doing this quick select top 100 rows. Oh, it's given us a nice little error here. That's strange. Maybe we'll not worry about that for a moment. So we are just going to move on to the create external table code here. So this is actually the code that we are going to use to create the external table, and I need to tell it to use sales first. So we are going to use this database and then create this external table, and we're defining the data source as this sales data source that I already created in this other script. And the file format is, again, that file format that I created in the other script. If I go to my data sources, and I just click refresh so that it actually loads what I've got, you'll see that it has created for me this little SQL database. And in here, I've got external resources and external data sources, and I have actually created that data source there. So when I go back to my script here, I do need to just specify to use sales. I can spell that right, that would be good, wouldn't it? So once I tell it which database to use, it is going to be able to create that external table within. So, it's creating the same name, so we just need to change the name. I had a brief error there for a moment, and that was because I had used this location before, so I've just added another layer to this so that it is going to store it in this new folder directory rather than where we had before. So we are creating the external table. We've just done that, and all this is a super easy to see what this does. Select statement. We're just getting the sum of the items sold, how much money we made, and we are getting the net revenue by rounding the unit price minus the tax amount. And all of this is, of course, grouped by the item. So we have this on an item by item basis. And that is literally it. We have created an external table, and we can then start to query that table. So I can go in and have a look at the external table in this now. So if I click refresh so that it comes back up, if I open that, we'll be able to see our external tables, and let's see what that comes out as. So let's just select the top 100 rows from it and see what that brings back. And we can see that it has aggregated our data up really nicely. So this is a really good place to start when it comes to data transformations. You can then start to filter and do a lot more complex business logic if you want to maybe generate a Power BI report, but this is a good place to start. And all of this was done without having to bring anything into a formal relational database. It was all just queried from directly inside that data lake. So really, really useful. That is the end of today's Technical Tuesday. Next week, I will continue to explore Synapse Workspace and the stuff that you can do with this. I am working towards my DP203 exam at the moment, so this will probably continue to be a theme, but Machine Learning Monday will continue apace, probably some more time series stuff before I move into a different area where I can go on another deep dive. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will catch you next week. Bye.